Some of the homeschooling advice that I received very early on in my homeschooling journey, over 10 years ago now, actually made things worse. I know. And now I'm not saying that any of these things are bad. I'm just saying this stuff did not work for me, and it's okay if it doesn't work for you too. If your gut is telling you something against the popular homeschooling advice, go with your gut. I'm going to tell you some of the things that totally did not work for us. So a quick qualifier, just because it doesn't work for me doesn't mean it won't work for you. I have to put that because people just lose their minds in the comment section. So if it works for you, that's great. It did not work for me. So here is the first one and the big one. Don't recreate public school. Okay. I feel like I really have to qualify this. My home is not structured like a public school. But, this is the big but here. But the whole togetherness, like one table, one desk, sitting around the couch and everybody doing everything together did not work for me. And I had a feeling at the beginning that it wouldn't, and I felt like I was doing something totally wrong, and I wasn't. Here's why it didn't work for me. First, my kid's age gap was too big. And I had one kid who would be in one area of learning and another way far ahead. And that really complicated the issue for me personally and for my kids. It was really annoying for both of them. Another thing, having them sit together at the same table was a disaster. And they worked so much better when they were apart. So one of our first homeschool setups actually kind of looks like a classroom. Just as a former teacher, this was something that I knew, and this was something very easy for me to recreate for them. And it was a solution that really worked. Keeping them further apart kept them focused on their own personal work instead of focusing on each other and poking each other and taking each other's pencils. And I have boys, guys. It just was not working out for me. It works for them having their own space. So the whole oh, you can't recreate public school. You can recreate some of that. If that works for your family, do it. Big box curriculum. I was told at the very beginning to just get a big box curriculum and call it a day. That did not work for me at all. Now, I want to say the first year it wasn't too bad, and I really didn't have any idea what I was doing. And I want to say that first year it kind of made things a little bit easier, but I saw the longer I used it, the more difficult it became because the learning styles were not meshing with some of the big box curriculum things. And really what I needed was confidence that I knew my kids well enough to pick out a curriculum for them. And that's what I did. I decided to kind of get out of the shallow end of the pool and start doing my own research. And that opened up a whole world of things. So now what I do is I kind of piece together our curriculum. So the spine of our curriculum is typically Generations core packs, and that takes care of history and Bible and electives, character building, and then I build out from there. So if I need English or if I need math, my kids are older, so the Generations core packs, they haven't caught up with the older grades yet, so I have to fill in some of those gaps, which is fine. The younger grades typically have those with them now, and they are expanding every single year, so that's really cool. But for me personally, I add in those ones that I know that we can use, so I have curriculum videos where you can go check that out. So I know it works now, but I had to really study my kids to kind of see their learning style a little bit. And that made all the difference. And it gave me the confidence to pick out the curriculum that I knew would work for them. Oh, this next one. If you don't finish the curriculum or if you quit in the middle of it, you must have failed somewhere. That is so not true. And I had a feeling that this was not true because as a teacher, it was very rare if we ever finished a curriculum by the end of the year, and a lot of times we would quit in the middle because of some kind of problem. And I think that that's what gave me the confidence to say, you know what, if this is not working, I'm getting rid of it. I am not afraid to quit a curriculum mid-year. I will do it. And I have done it quite a few times until I really found our footing. I quit curriculum if I felt like my kid was frustrated and we needed a change. I quit it immediately. Like, I figured out another solution to that problem. And honestly, it's never caused any issues for us to quit a curriculum mid-year and start something else. Never. I've never had a problem with it. I think the only thing that I didn't like was the cost. And that's why I like low-cost curriculum like Generations. I feel like with those, it's not nearly as big of a cost risk for me. So quitting another curriculum and picking up something like Generations really helped me when we were kind of trying to figure out our footing and we had just found Generations. That was such a relief because the Generations curriculum was a fraction of the cost of a lot of the other big ones that I was using. And it really saved my family a lot of money. We're a military family, so money is something I really have to watch. So really what it's about is trusting your instincts as a mom. And for me, that's huge. Trusting my own instincts. I know the setup that's going to work well for them. I know the curriculum that's going to work well for them. And that comes, that homeschool mom confidence will come with time. If you're in your first year, sometimes and I find that many of us don't have it. It's something that you really have to work toward. And it's kind of like driving. Like, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and eventually you can turn the radio up and you can have the windows down and you can just kind of cruise. But when you first start, you know, you're kind of hunched over the wheel, you have your hands at 10 and 2, and you are looking around everywhere. Homeschooling is kind of the same way. You know, we are a little tense when we all first start, especially because the whole world is telling you that you are completely insane and you're going to mess up your kids every single time that they find out that you homeschool. And it really does a number to your confidence. Another point is staying on schedule. I am really bad about this. And I think the older I get, the worse I am when it comes to being on a schedule, which is why I don't even like to make one. I made one this past year and I realized the first week, I was like, I might as well just put this in the paper shredder. Just because you make a schedule doesn't mean you need to stick with it. And there are homeschool schedule makers out there all over the place. Find your natural rhythm instead. That is my biggest piece of advice, because every day your curriculum might take longer or shorter depending on what the assignment is, especially when they're in high school or even middle school. Elementary, it's a lot easier to do that, but once your kids get older, the whole schedule thing is just a little bit daunting, and then you feel like you have to cut off a lesson like in the middle. Don't do that. Rather than like a hardline schedule, go with like a rhythm. What I do is I kind of write everything on the board, all of the subjects, and then I let my kids kind of pick where they want to do things. So both of them like to do the same subjects in the same order each day. And then however long they take is usually just however long it takes. If they want to decide like, hey, I've been doing this for 90 minutes, I need a break, can I do the rest for homework? Sure, move on to the next thing. That's totally fine in my book. I don't have any problems with that, and that's never caused any issue. But you are not failing if you don't stick to your schedule, or if your schedule is all over the place, or if you don't even know what a schedule should look like. Don't worry about it. You're doing fine. As long as you're doing the subjects that you're supposed to be doing each day, you're fine. So big takeaway from this, trust your instincts as a mom, and the longer you do this, the more confident you're going to get. And it's going to be just fine. I have found a lot of the big homeschooling advice out there is probably written by people who have either never homeschooled or who homeschooled like 20 years ago, and that stuff is not even relevant anymore. So, and I'm not saying all homeschooling advice is bad. Why would I be making videos if all homeschooling advice was bad? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying trust your instincts, and if you think something might work for you, give it a try. If it doesn't work, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with you because we've tried plenty of things that did not work for us, and it was okay. I figured out a way to fix it in my own homeschool, and you will figure out a way to fix it in yours too. That is all for this video. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Post down below what is something that did not work for you that you feel like is one of those homeschool rules. I would love to know. This could be such a fun conversation to have down there in the comment section. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and happy homeschooling.